Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Files, a show where a randomly generated idea becomes a randomly generated script written by an AI and given a cold read by me, your host. Will it make sense? Maybe. Will it be fact-checked? Absolutely not. Will it be entertaining? God, let's hope so. I'll read a script, we'll find out what's in it, I'll throw in some commentary, which hopefully you'll be able to tell is me and not written by AI, but who knows. Anyways, let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about the life and crimes of a man known as the Senior, computer programmer turned serial killer. The Senior, whose real name is Name. It just has name in brackets. I guess his parents were so fucked up they didn't even give him a name. This one suffered some serious abuse. The Senior, whose real name is Name, was born on January 15th, 1950 in a small town outside of the city. Now you're probably wondering which city, and the answer to that question is yes, because it doesn't say. Whatever city you think it is, it's that city. The city. He grew up in an abusive household with strict parents who inflicted physical and emotional trauma on him. His father was a disciplinarian who believed in corporal punishment, and his mother suffered from severe depression and was emotionally unavailable. The Senior's parents had high expectations for him, and he was constantly under pressure to perform well in school. He was forbidden from participating in sports and other extracurricular activities, and was instead encouraged to focus on his studies. As a result of this strict upbringing, the Senior had few friends and struggled to form meaningful relationships. He found solace in books and mathematics, which he viewed as a way to escape the harsh realities of his home life. Despite his struggles, the Senior was an exceptional student and excelled in his studies. He showed a natural aptitude for mathematics and technology, which he developed further in college. The troubled upbringing left Name with anxiety and depression, and he struggled to form meaningful relationships. It's worth noting that although the Senior's upbringing undoubtedly played a role in shaping his later behavior, it's important to remember that not everyone who experiences abuse or trauma becomes a serial killer. Just most people. It doesn't say that last part. Okay, not everyone does it. That's all that matters. There are often many factors at play, including genetics, environment, and individual life experiences. We signed up for a random, nonsensical script, and here we're just getting good psychological advice and viewpoints. Growing up, Name had a passion for mathematics and computers. He excelled in these subjects, finding solace in the complex problems they presented. After graduating high school, he pursued his passion for technology by studying computer science in college. Upon graduation, the Senior landed a job at a local tech company where he worked for several years before being laid off. Unfortunately, it was during this period of unemployment that the Senior's mental illness began to surface. He became increasingly isolated and fixated on the idea of revenge. Who is he getting on revenge on? Is he going to kill his parents? They're the only ones that did anything wrong to him. In 1983, the Senior carried out his first murder, killing a former co-worker whom he believed had played a role in his termination from the tech company. Did they ever name the tech company, by the way? No, it doesn't have a name for the tech company. So the Senior, whose name is Name, in the city, called The City, and the tech company. He strangled his victim with a rope and meticulously cleaned up the crime scene, leaving no trace of his presence. Other than the strangled body, I'm betting. I mean, that's a pretty big tip-off. Over the next decade, the Senior continued to kill, always using the same modus operandi. He would break into his victims' homes and strangle them with a rope. He would then clean up the crime scene with incredible care, leaving no evidence behind. The Senior's victims varied in age, gender, and occupation, and there was no apparent motive behind the killings. This lack of pattern made it difficult for investigators to link murders to a single suspect. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Senior's case was his meticulousness. He planned every detail of his murders with incredible care, going to great lengths to avoid detection. His attention to detail was evident not only in the way he cleaned up the crime scenes, but also in his ability to avoid leaving behind any physical evidence. For years, the Senior was able to evade law enforcement, leaving them with little to go on in their investigation. It wasn't until 1995. Okay, so 12 years. Let's see, he started in... When did he start? 1983. Okay, 12 years. Huh, okay. It wasn't until 1995 that police were able to connect the murders to the senior through forensic evidence. The breakthrough came when investigators discovered a tiny piece of fiber on one of the victims' clothing. This fiber matched the carpeting in the senior's apartment, providing their... How did they know to check his... How do they know who he was? How do they know to check his apartment? Okay, anyways. The fiber matched the carpeting in the senior's apartment, providing the first concrete evidence that linked him to the crimes. Using this evidence, investigators obtained a warrant to search his home. Inside, they found a meticulously organized collection of newspaper clippings about his victims, along with a detailed journal of his crimes. And just before we go any farther, I need to give you a word from our sponsors. And yes, this was also written by an AI, so let's see what it is. Are you tired of living in a world where everything has a price tag? A world where corporations hold all the power and money talks louder than morality? Look no further than the latest limited edition flavor from Pepsi. Marshmallow Peeps. That's right, folks. The capitalistic drive for profit has reached a new low with the creation of this abomination. It's the perfect symbol of just how far capitalism has gone in its relentless pursuit of profit at any cost. Do we really need another sugar-laden, artificially flavored soda? Especially one that tastes like a beloved Easter candy. Okay, let's not go that far. Is it beloved? Does anyone eat Marshmallow Peeps? Does anyone actually like them? Beloved by who? No. No. The answer is a resounding no. Yet, here we are, bombarded with advertisements for this grotesque creation on every street corner. It's time to take a stand against the rampant greed and excess of capitalism. Let's demand a system that values people over profits, where the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And let's start by rejecting the Pepsi Marshmallow Peeps flavor and everything it represents. Join the fight for a fair and just society, and let's put an end to the insanity of capitalism gone too far. So the next time you crack open a can of Marshmallow Peeps soda, think about what it represents. And if you're ready to join the fight against this kind of senseless commercialism, consider picking up a copy of the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, or at the very least take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask how it has come to this. And now back to the story. Oh, fuck. That took a turn I was not expecting. The journal was a record of each murder, detailing the victim's name, age, occupation, and other personal details. It also contained disturbing descriptions of the killings themselves, including the senior's thoughts and emotions before, during, and after the murders. Have they ever said why they call him the senior? They haven't. I mean, that seems like an important detail, right? Like Son of Sam, Pogo the Clown, why the Night Stalker, Golden State Killer, they all had, there's a reason, right? This guy, no, nothing. In the journal, the senior described how he meticulously planned each murder, often scouting out his victims' homes for days or weeks beforehand to learn their routines and habits. How does he have time for... Oh, okay, wait, because he's unemployed. That's why he has time for... Then where's he living? What the shit? But the fact that it's he's got plenty of time to do all this, that's pretty good, pretty good attention to detail here. AI? Chat GPT? What does the GPT stand for? Greg? Okay, yeah. Greg P. Telson? We're going with Greg. He also described how he would break into their homes and wait for the perfect opportunity to strike. The journal provided a chilling window into the senior's psyche. Didn't that exact phrasing get used already? Oh no, that was offered insights into his twisted psyche. Okay. It was filled with angry rants against his victims, whom he viewed as undeserving and inferior. He believed that by killing them, he was somehow righting the wrongs that had been done to him in his life. Senior's journal also contained graphic descriptions of his sexual fantasies. Okay, I didn't see that coming since nothing sexual has been mentioned so far, but okay. Which he would act out on his victims after they were dead. Okay, how did we miss the necrophilia when talking about what he did? And how the fuck did he leave no fucking trace when he's fucking them? Like, how do you leave... He must have been fucking meticulous. He somehow left a corpse unfucked after he fucked it. These passages were particularly disturbing to investigators as they revealed the senior's sadistic tendencies and his complete lack of empathy for his victims. The journal was a key piece of evidence in the senior's trial, providing a rare glimpse into the mind of a serial killer. Prosecutors argued that the journal proved that the senior was fully aware of his actions and had planned each murder with premeditation and malice afterthought. The defense, on the other hand, used the journal as evidence of the senior's deteriorating mental health, citing his long history of mental illness, which was not even mentioned in this fucking script before they were like, oh, and then his mental illness started to show. Like, it says that he was abused and shit, but it never was like, oh, and he fucking... I don't know, was narcissistic. The senior was finally arrested in 1996 after an intense standoff with police. He barricaded himself inside his apartment and refused to come out, forcing law enforcement to use tear gas to subdue him. The senior was taken into custody and charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder. At his trial, the senior's defense team argued that he was not mentally sound at the time of the murders. Wait, weren't we just talking about the case? Why did we go back to the standoff and then the trial again? The senior's defense team argued that he was not mentally sound at the time of the murders, citing his history of mental illness and the detailed journal of his crimes as evidence. His deteriorating... Okay, I'm 100% sure we used like that exact phrasing a little while ago. Come on, Greg. However... Jesus Christ. However, the prosecution argued that the senior was fully aware of his actions and had carefully planned each murder. I wonder where I've heard that before. In the end, the jury found the senior guilty on all counts and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 1995, this was? He wasn't, like, put to death? I guess they don't have the death penalty in the city. After his conviction, the senior remained largely quiet and showed little remorse for his actions. However, in interviews with psychologists, he would occasionally open up about his motivation for the murders. According to the senior, he saw his victims as symbols of the people who had wronged him throughout his life. Wasn't that, like, 3 people? Like his mom and dad, and then the person he thought got him fired, who he killed, so he didn't really need to punish that guy anymore. Did it say how many victims he had? I don't think it did. No, I don't think it does. It doesn't say how many people he killed. What the shit? He believed that by killing them, he was exacting a form of revenge that had been denied in his own life. In his journal, the senior had also written about the sense of power he felt during the murders. He described the rush he experienced when he was in control of another person's life and how it made him feel alive in a way that nothing else had. Background music plays. It just says background music plays. Nowhere else in the script does it say that, so we're gonna just... Hold on. Alright, background music played. The senior's case remains a chilling reminder of the capacity for violence that exists within even the most seemingly ordinary individuals. His ability to avoid detection for years and the meticulousness with which he planned his murders serve as a cautionary tale for law enforcement and the public alike. The senior's story is also a reminder of the importance of early intervention for individuals struggling with mental illness. Had the senior received proper treatment for his anxiety and depression... Now we get to his fucking mental illnesses. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm not a psychologist, but I think I can confidently say that anxiety and depression don't make someone kill and fuck people in that order. So that seems unlikely, right? There's more there, I think. Anyways, had the senior received proper treatment for his anxiety and depression, it's possible that the murders could have been prevented. And there we go. An abrupt end to a randomly generated script, but I think I can speak for everyone when I say I hope you rot in hell, name, you sick son of a bitch. Be sure to join us next week when we dive into U.S. military history by looking at the little-known Operation Ironic Sarcasm.